Have you ever wondered what the word quality really means when it comes to a business? It's not just some buzzword they throw around. It's actually a science. In this explainer, we're going on a journey from the old way of just catching mistakes to a modern approach of building excellence into every single step. And we'll be using powerful frameworks like total quality management and Six Sigma to guide us. And this whole breakdown was designed by someone who really lives and breathes this stuff, Roquibol Islam. He's a total quality management professional with 15 years of experience, and get this, he was trained by the pioneers of modern quality, Dr. Noriaki Kano and Dr. Katsutoshi Ayano. So you know the information you're about to see is the real deal. All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to lay the foundation and figure out what quality even is. Then, we'll take a trip back in time to see how it evolved. After that, we'll get into the core principles of total quality management, and finally, land on the super powerful data-driven methodology we know as Six Sigma. So let's dive right in with that big fundamental question. What is quality? Well, according to the official international standard, ISO 9000, quality is just the degree to which a set of inherent characteristics fulfill requirements. Okay, what does that actually mean? It means quality isn't about being fancy or expensive. It's simply about delivering on your promise. Does the thing do what you said it would do? If yes, that's quality. And this is a really critical distinction to make, the difference between quality and grade. Here's a great way to think about it. A basic, no-frills phone can be an incredibly high-quality product, right? If it makes calls reliably, sends texts without a glitch, if it meets all its stated requirements, then its quality is top-notch. It's a lower grade than the latest smartphone with a million features for sure, but that doesn't make it lower quality. Now, this way of thinking about quality didn't just pop up out of nowhere. Let's take a quick look at how our whole approach to managing it has completely transformed over the years. You can really break the journey down into 3 big stages. It all started with inspection. You make a bunch of stuff, and then at the very end, you check for mistakes. Then things got a little smarter with quality control, where people started monitoring the process as it was happening. But the real game changer was quality assurance, which is all about being proactive and designing a system to prevent defects from ever happening in the first place. This idea was perfectly captured by a quality guru named Philip Crosby. He said, quality is defined as conformance to requirements. Now that sounds super simple, but it was revolutionary. It completely shifted the goal from just finding mistakes to meeting the requirements perfectly right from the start. Another one of the greats, Joseph Juran, gave us a practical framework for this called the Juran Trilogy. It's basically a continuous loop. First, you plan for quality. Then you control the process to make sure you're hitting those plans. And finally, you use what you learn to constantly improve. It's this never-ending cycle of getting better and better. So all of this thinking eventually came together into one big philosophy, total quality management, or TQM. And this wasn't just a new technique. It was a total shift in how businesses thought about, everything. This philosophy is really built on a handful of key principles, which are the same principles experts like Roquibol, who designed this explainer, use every single day to make things better. And at the absolute heart of TQM is this idea of continuous improvement. It's one of 8 core principles, things like customer focus and a process-based approach, that really form the foundation for standards like ISO 9001. The idea is simple. You are never finished. It's a constant cycle of checking your performance, finding ways to improve, and preventing problems before they can even start. Okay, so if TQM is the philosophy, the big picture mindset, then Six Sigma is the modern, supercharged toolkit. It's a methodology that takes all those TQM principles and gives them some serious statistical firepower. So the story goes that Six Sigma was born at Motorola here in the US after 1980, and it was directly inspired by the incredible success Japan was having with TQM. Pretty soon it was joined by another idea called Lean, which came from MIT's deep dive into the super efficient Toyota production system. When you put them together, Lean Six Sigma becomes this absolute powerhouse for simplifying processes and just obliterating waste. So what does Six Sigma level quality actually look like? It all comes down to this one number. 3.4. That means 3.4 defects for every 1 million chances to have a defect. Let me put that another way. It's a process that is 99.99966% perfect. I mean, that is just an incredible standard of near perfection. And the goals are crystal clear. Get defects as close to zero as possible. How? By finding and getting rid of the root causes of variation in any process. When huge companies like GE got on board with this, the results were staggering. Massive leaps in quality, customer happiness, and overall productivity. So we've covered the whole journey, right? From just checking for mistakes at the end of the line to this incredibly sophisticated, data-driven approach. And this isn't just some abstract theory. It's a fundamental change in how the best organizations in the world operate and create value. The journey to excellence is really about this one big shift, moving from a reactive mindset of let's catch our failures to a proactive culture of let's design for success. That's the real core of modern quality management, building systems that deliver amazing results by design, not just by luck. And that really brings us to the final and most important question. This journey isn't just for massive corporations or factories. The core principles we've talked about, understanding what's required, preventing errors, and always getting better, they apply to any team, any project, anything you do. So the question I want to leave you with is, where will you apply them to create a little more excellence? Hey, thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and a huge thanks to Rockable Islam for creating such clear and insightful material to guide us through it.